So I would like to introduce to you Lisa Ruba, who is joining us from Geneva at the Environmental Emergencies Center. And since we've wasted 10 minutes, I will skip the introductions, pass straight to Lisa, allow her to introduce herself, and get started as soon as possible. If you don't mind, we will continue this webinar rather 10:30 as original scheduled, so we can keep all the content in it. Lisa, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Anthony. Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to be with you today. I hope you can hear me fine. I was waiting patiently here for the issue to be solved, so it's totally okay to skip the introduction. So I'll briefly introduce myself. My name is Lisa Rubac. I work at the joint UNEP OCHA Environment Unit, which is embedded with OCHA, so Office for Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs of the United Nations, and we're embedded with the Emergency Preparedness and Environment section of the Emergency Services branch, and we're physically situated in Geneva, Switzerland. And it's a big pleasure for me today to be with you in this webinar, and I will try and present to you guys our Environmental Emergency Center. So I will try and limit my presentation to roughly 10-15 minutes, and then I will gladly take your questions. Hopefully I'll know the answers to them. So before I actually go into presenting our Environmental Emergency Center, let me just briefly explain to you what we are and who we are. So what is this monster, the joint UNEP OCHA Environment Unit? Well, it's a creation of two UN Secretariat bodies, UNEP, United Nations Environment Program, and OCHA, Office for Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs. Well, how do we function? We take the technical expertise, so the environment related knowledge of UNEP, and we combine it with OCHA's ability to coordinate humanitarian situation in the disaster areas, and like these, combining the expertise of these two UN Secretariat bodies, we function. And we concentrate our work on the sort of three main pillars, which are the preparedness, the response, and the environment and humanitarian action. So in terms of the emergency response, we're able in the first couple of hours after an environmental emergency strikes to mobilize experts and send equipment such as mobile laboratories to the affected area. In terms of preparedness, the joint unit works to raise awareness among communities, disaster responders, governments, and industries on the impact of environmental emergencies and the presence of hazardous materials that may be released during a disaster. In terms of mainstreaming environment into humanitarian action, we try to make sure that environmental considerations are taken into consideration and integrated in the humanitarian program cycle, including strategic planning, contingency planning, humanitarian financing, and performance monitoring and evaluation. So basically meaning that when there are humanitarian operations taking place, we try to make sure that the humanitarians don't create damage to environment and natural resources of a given country. So that's briefly the three main pillars of our work. In terms of the JU, so stands for the Joint Environment Unit, and we take big pride in the fact that despite the fact that we're actually a very small unit, we're only five people working here. We rely on a very big network of partners, and we play a coordinating role in over 15 different networks and partnerships. We provide our services to member states at no cost, mainly working with low and middle income countries. We develop a variety of methodologies, tools, and guidelines. In particular, we have our flagship environmental assessment tool, which helps non-professionals, so people who do not necessarily have a chemical or environmental background, to be able to assess the impact of industrial accidents, the impact that they may have on human health and the environment. And so, like mentioned, we rely on a global network of experts, and we're able to deploy within a couple of hours after the disaster strikes. We work very, very narrowly and closely together with UNDAC, the United Nations Disaster Assessment and Coordination Team. Once again, we rely on many partners. So we work with the United Nations various programs and agencies and affiliated organizations. We work with member states, so the donor states that provide their technical support and that provide their experts, which we can then mobilize and deploy if a disaster strikes. We also work with a number of NGOs, notably the Green Cross International. We work closely with IFRC and ICRC on the topics of chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear accident preparedness. And in a way, we also work a little bit with the private sector and industry groups. So you can now see on the screen the main services that we provide to member states. And without any further delay, I'll just go deeper into one of the services, which is the knowledge sharing, and basically the main topic of our webinar today. So how do we share knowledge with our counterparts? And for that, we have created the so-called Environmental Emergencies Center. The center is not a physical center, it's a virtual center, which is an online tool designed to strengthen the capacity of national responders to environmental emergencies by building on their own mechanisms and drawing on the resources and services that the EEC and its partners have to offer. So the EEC is that we know at the United Nations we love acronyms, so the EEC is the acronym for Environmental Emergency Center. So the center serves as an online space providing open access to guidelines, advocacy tools, legal documents, training courses, discussion forum, updates on current environmental events happening all over the world. Later on, I will take you on a little virtual tour around the EEC so that you can get a better idea of various things that you can find there. But the main things that are available through the EEC are the online learning courses, and I'll talk about them in detail in a moment. A big library of various resources. We have a news section, an events calendar, and a moderated discussion group on our LinkedIn, and a moderated forum discussions on our dedicated LinkedIn group. So the EEC was launched back in 2013 as a way to strengthen national capacities for effective environmental emergency preparedness. It has become an online support platform and knowledge hub for environmental emergency preparedness. It is managed by us, the Joint UNEP-OCHA Environment Unit, and through the center we provide services upon request to assist countries in strengthening their capacity to prepare for and respond to environmental emergencies. So, like I mentioned, on the EEC, we host online learnings. We currently have 5 of them available in different languages. Not all 5 are available in all 6 UN official languages, but we're working on making them available in as many UN official languages as possible. Our flagship introductory course is called Beyond Response, Better Preparedness for Environmental Emergencies, and the course provides an introduction to preparedness and response to environmental emergencies. This course is also available as a face-to-face workshop that we deliver upon request from member states who wish to increase their preparedness to environmental emergencies. The course has been on the EEC now for almost 2 years and is actually currently undergoing revision. We're working with a team of experts to improve the course and make it a bit more up to date, to provide recent examples of environmental emergencies and how we've responded to them. So the new version of the Beyond Response should become available on the EEC in the next couple of weeks or so. But already now the previous version is open and available in English, French, Arabic, and Spanish for everyone who's interested. Another e-learning that the EEC hosts is called Introduction to Industrial Accidents, Prevention, Preparedness, and Response. The course up until today was available in English, French, and Russian, and just today we've uploaded its translation into Chinese. So now it's also open for Mandarin-speaking users. We also have a course on disaster waste management, on mainstreaming environment into humanitarian action. So like I mentioned before, one of the main pillars of our work, and also on the Flash environmental assessment tool. So the tool that I've also mentioned earlier, the one that allows non-professionals, non-experts to measure the impact of environmental emergencies. So two of the courses, the Beyond Response and the course on this Flash environmental assessment tool, are undergoing review, and the new versions will be available shortly. Other 3 courses shall remain unchanged for the time being, but we're working on making them available in more languages. Currently, all of them are available in English. Most of them are available in French, Spanish, and Russian, and only some in Arabic and Chinese. The core audience of the EEC are the national responders, the humanitarian actors, the environmental experts, and users from low and middle income countries. However, the EEC is an open web tool for everyone, for anyone. Its web address is ecenter.org. Shortly, when I'll take you on a virtual tour, you'll be able to see it. So anyone can browse through the page, download the materials available there. The only thing that is needed, the registration, are the e-learnings. So if the user wishes to take one of our 5 e-learnings or all 5 of them, they may do so free of charge. They just need to register, so for monitoring purposes, but also with the idea that the user, provided he or she has successfully completed the e-learning, will receive a certificate from the Joint UNEP-OCHA Environment Unit. So we need your name and your email address in order to be able to send those. Thus, it's important to register to be able to complete the e-learnings. The registration is though granted instantly, and once again, it's free of charge, so anyone can do it. Like mentioned, the EEC features a rich library of useful resources. You can find their various tools and guidelines that we've developed or that our partners have developed, a number of reports. Some of them are very technical, some are less so. Mainly we publish reports on our preparedness or response missions to affected countries, but also we publish a lot of our partners' reports. If you come across interesting publications related to environmental emergencies, we will be more than happy to publish them as well in any of the UN official languages. You just need to send them to us, to our email address, unepocha@un.org. I think the email address appears at the end of my presentation. If not, I'll happily repeat it if needed. And like mentioned, we also have a discussion forum, which is currently not on the webpage itself. It's within the LinkedIn group. I'll take you there in a moment. The idea, however, being that soon we will have the discussion forum embedded in the EEC, so it will soon be available on the page itself. And the EEC also features a calendar of events where we publish all the events that are open for public, that are either hosted and organized by the United Nations or by one of our numerous partners and members of our networks. These are mainly the conferences or the trainings, either the face-to-face ones or the online ones, so that users can have an idea of everything that happens globally and that is related to environmental emergencies, and so that they have the opportunity to join those events, whether physically or virtually, if they wish to do so. So this is how I've come to the end of my short presentation. You can see our email address at the bottom of this last slide. So it's ocha.unap@un.org. I'll be taking questions from you guys at the end of this webinar, but also if you think of any other questions later on, don't hesitate to get in touch with me. You can send me an email to this email address, or like mentioned, if you wish to share some resources or publications that you think could be interesting to our users, please don't hesitate to do so as well. Now, if our moderator Anthony doesn't mind, I'd like maybe to take the participants on a very short virtual tour of the center, and then I'll take the questions.
So Lisa, we're running a little bit late, but I think we can still manage to do the tour. I've given you access to be able to share your screen.
Great, fantastic. Thank you so much. So I promise not to be long with my virtual tour. Can you please just confirm that everyone can see my screen?
We can see your screen perfectly.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. So very quickly, as promised, you can see our web address. So it's www.ecenter.org. Once you land on our homepage, you basically see the latest news, and we also feature the newsfeed from Relief Web, the calendar of events, just like I mentioned before, and the resource library, right? You can join the discussion forum, which is on LinkedIn, by clicking here, and you can register on the EEC by clicking here. And once you've registered, you just need to log in with the login and the password that you've chosen. So I will just quickly log in myself. Otherwise, if you're not registered, you will not be able to access the online learnings. And so they are hidden under our training online learning tab. And once you've registered and logged in, you may access the 5 e-learnings that I've previously mentioned, and then you may, once you click on join the course, you may choose the language in which you wish to complete it. And if your internet connection is not great, you also have the option of downloading the course content, completing it offline, and then you just have to email us the code that's generated at the end of the e-learning, and like this we'll be able to send you the certificate of successful completion of the course. So I think I will stop now, provided the time constraint. If you have any questions at all related to the EEC, to our e-learnings, generally on the work of the Joint UNEP-OCHA Environment Unit, I'm happy to take your questions now, or like mentioned, feel free to email me later on.
So thank you very much, Lisa. We have a number of questions from our participants. I'll start from LD that seems to have quite a technical question. Are you involved with minimizing or eliminating environmental impacts due to alluvial mining with mercury and cyanide contamination, which is ongoing?
No, not that I'm aware of. It is indeed a very specific question. So I'll be happy. Maybe if you could then email me what specifically is of interest to you, I could ask around and check if maybe someone else with OCHA or UNEP is dealing with the issue. As far as I'm aware, the joint unit is not working on it, and basically mainly how we work is upon request from a member state. So as far as I know, we haven't received any such requests in the recent past.
Okay, so to focus a little bit more on the course, Volker is asking if your course participants have a space to connect after the course, for example, an alumni space. Well, Seinabu is saying that it would be interesting to hear or see something about your global community, about how it works, how active it is, and what happens there.
Yeah, that's a very good question. So thanks to those who've asked it. This is precisely something we're currently working on. So unfortunately, up until today, our global community, and you may have seen that on the EEC, there's actually a tab called Global Community, and I'll let you later on explore it, but you will see that so far, unfortunately, it doesn't provide space for interaction between our users and between the participants of our face-to-face training workshops. However, we're very much aware of the fact that this would be incredibly beneficial for our users, for our participants, for our partners and counterparts globally. So we're now actually working on creating such space. The EEC will shortly. I can't unfortunately give you right now with great certainty a timeline, but within the next couple of months, we're hoping to be able to host the discussion forum on the EEC itself, whereby the users from different countries and the participants of our training workshops would be able to exchange their experience, to share their testimonials. We have a number of very interesting things planned for you. We're planning to record interviews with our experts who were deployed to various emergency situations, and as well as testimonials from people who've taken part in our capacity building, awareness raising trainings, etc. So all of that is coming up. So I would just recommend you to register on the site, because also like this you'll stay tuned to our news and developments, because we send the EEC newsletter to the users every couple of months. And I would also encourage you to become a member of our LinkedIn forum, and so far through the LinkedIn forum we'll be keeping you informed of all the developments.
I'd like to follow up exactly with that LinkedIn community. In your experience, how effective has the LinkedIn community been to support a course, and what do you see as the strengths and weaknesses of it compared to a dedicated platform?
Oh, that's a good question. If I had to share my experience, I would say that the LinkedIn discussion forum is not the most interactive tool that one could think of. And how it currently works is that a moderator, so someone from the JU team, posts something. So let's say it can be a news item, or it can be a blurb on something new that has become available on the EEC, or it can be just something that we believe is of interest to our users. So we make a post on the LinkedIn discussion forum, and then we let the users, comment on the news item or on the post, like it, share it through their profile pages, etc. In our experience, this is not working great. We believe the explanation being that users are mainly using LinkedIn for job search purposes. So I think the LinkedIn users are very much concentrated on their profiles and on making connections to people who they believe can be useful to them in their job search, or in their different ideas related to their careers. Which is why we now have the more and more growing understanding of the fact that we would need our own community of practice embedded with the Environmental Emergency Center, so not something on one of the numerous social media pages, but something directly on the EEC, where users who are truly interested in the content, you know, and who do not necessarily pursue any other interests, you know, job related or other, where they would be able to share their experiences, ask questions, whether it's the questions that their peers can answer or is the technical questions like the one that I've received earlier that, you know, then we can follow up and ask our colleagues in UNEP or OCHA. The idea being is that despite the fact that LinkedIn and other social media are great tools that allow for interaction between the users, it is best to have to give the users the ability to interact on the page itself.
Thank you for that. Gerlinda is asking if you manage the learning space in-house and do you produce the trainings in-house? And maybe you could say also a little bit about the reasoning behind whichever decision you took.
Yes, we do trainings in-house, and basically how it works is the following. We cannot, unfortunately, offer trainings to anyone. We only work upon a request coming from a member state. So if a country, let's say, normally our requests, we get the requests from ministries of emergencies or ministries of environment or some governmental bodies that in one way or another are responsible for preparedness and response of their particular country to environmental emergencies. They get in touch with us and they say, you know, we would greatly benefit from a training for our staff on a given topic. We then conduct a need assessment, so we have questionnaires that we can then tailor depending on the request received. We send it to the national counterpart. We do the needs assessment, we analyze the result, and then we come up with a draft training agenda that we share with our counterparts. And if that is of interest to them, then we can offer, you know, a 1 or 2 or 3 day face-to-face training workshop. Normally, a prerequisite for the workshop would always be the completion by all of the participants of our e-learning or one or more of our e-learnings that are available on the EC. And obviously, as you may understand, the face-to-face trainings are always related to costs, and we normally have to turn to the donors if we get a request for a training, then we need to raise funds in order to be able to provide such a training.
Thank you very much, Lisa. That seems to be all the questions we have from our participants for the moment. Several of our participants are suggesting that you might want to check out the Global Digital Learning Community, which was just launched by the speaker before you. So thank you also very much for answering the questions very clearly and exhaustively. To all the participants, our next speaker will be Polona Sirnikov, CEF, who will be presenting Learn for Dev, Digital Capacity Development International Cooperation. That should start on time at 11 o'clock Universal Time. For the moment, I'll remind you that, of course, the recordings and the presentations will be available on the Globe community shortly, and that we'll be moving the room into a pause mode so that we can prepare the stage for the next speaker. Thank you, everybody, and see you in 25 minutes.